Now it's time for the one key to rule them all, and that is the Master Key. In a nutshell, the Master Key can be used in place of 6 other keys that can be obtained during the first half of the game. These being the Residence Key, the Watchtower Basement Key, the Mystery Key, the Sewer Chamber Key, the Key to New Londo Ruins, and the Cage Key. But it is worth noting that it won't open every lock that each of these keys is actually needed for, but more on that later. The Master Key can be obtained one of 3 ways. Firstly, it can be chosen as your starter gift during the character creation screen. Secondly, if you choose the Thief class, it will be included in your starter equipment, leaving you free to pick another starter gift. And finally, it can also be purchased from Domhnall of Xena for 5,000 souls once he has moved from his initial location in the depths over to Firelink Shrine under the Sewer Aqueduct. As mentioned, while the Master Key can be used instead of certain other keys, it won't necessarily open everything that those keys would have if you obtain them individually. So here's a quick rundown of what it can and can't be used for. The Master Key can be used in place of the Residence Key, which will open a door in the Undead Burg, giving you access to a chest containing 3 Gold Pine Resins, which will be extremely useful against the Taurus Demon boss fight, as Gold Pine Resins apply lightning damage to your weapon, and the Taurus Demon has a weakness to this type of elemental damage. However, where the Residence Key would also be able to open the door in the lower Undead Burg, freeing Griggs of Vinheim, the Master Key will be of no use. So to free Griggs and have early access to various magics, you will still need to purchase the Residence Key from the Undead Merchant in the Undead Burg. The second key that the Master Key will work for is the Watchtower Basement Key, which opens up a shortcut between the Darkroot Basin and the Undead Burg, via the Watchtower, which can be accessed either from below the Taurus Demon or from the Darkroot Basin side, up the small staircase to the right of the Hydra mini-boss. But beware, as Havel the Rock is guarding this shortcut, so just be prepared to dodge, dip, duck, dive and dodge. The third key that the Master Key works for is the Mystery Key, and this will open up Lautrec of Karim's cell in the Undead Parish, below the Bel Gargoyle boss fight. The fourth key that it replaces is the Sewer Chamber Key, which opens the door to the bonfire room in the depths. The fifth key that the Master Key can be used in place of is the Key to New Londo Ruins, and this will open the shortcut between New Londo and the Valley of the Drakes. The final key that the Master Key works for is the Cage Key, which will open multiple cages in Sen's Fortress, including the cage that imprisons Big Hat Logan, a cage containing a hero soul, and several empty cages. Unfortunately, while the Cage Key does also open the lift cage shortcut in the centre of Sen's Fortress, the Master Key cannot be used for this. So, now that we know what the Master Key can and can't be used for, the main question is it better to choose this as a starter gift, or just wait until later in the game and purchase it from Domhnall of Xena? Well, there are pros and cons for both, and it really depends on what type of playthrough you are doing. For those on a first playthrough, I would personally recommend waiting until later in the game and purchasing the Master Key. The main argument for this is that as Dark Souls is designed around a careful balance of challenge and reward, the Master Key would allow access to areas that new players may not be ready for, leading to encounters with high-level enemies way too soon. And while Dark Souls is intended to be a challenging experience, for new players, having the added challenge of over-difficult areas and enemies would inevitably result in high degrees of frustration as opposed to a difficult challenge you are wanting to overcome. In addition to this, for me, one of the greatest aspects of Dark Souls is that sense of discovery, and having the Master Key from the get-go would definitely lessen this experience, compared to the sense of discovery when unlocking areas through natural progression. Plus, it is worth noting that by the time you can buy the Master Key, most of, if not all of the keys that the Master Key can be used for, you would have found the originals for anyway. For those who have already played Dark Souls or are doing additional playthroughs or even speedrunning the game, I would 100% recommend choosing the Master Key as your starter gift. Having the Master Key from the start of the game will enable you to optimize your playthrough by not only obtaining better items and weapons sooner, but by also skipping entire sections and bosses such as the Capra Demon in the depths. With the Master Key, you can gain access to the Valley of the Drakes and then beeline it to the end of Blighttown and the second Bell of Awakening, meaning you no longer have to traverse all the perilous walkways or poison blow dart enemies that frequent this area. Overall, the Master Key is a powerful tool that can drastically alter how you experience Dark Souls. For experienced players, speedrunners, or those who want to minimize early game frustration, it can be an invaluable asset. However, for newcomers or those who wish to experience the game's natural progression, skipping the Master Key as a starting gift and purchasing it later might provide a more balanced and rewarding journey. Ultimately, the choice depends on your experience level and preferred playstyle. And for now, that's it. If you want to know how to find any of the other keys in Dark Souls, check out the playlist on the left-hand side of the screen for all the individual guides. Or better yet, you can check out my full guide on all 24 key locations linked on the right-hand side. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more Dark Souls content.